All right, you're welcome. All right, you're welcome, everyone. We're going to be starting shortly. Let's just wait for a few other people to join. I'm Coach Manuel, and I want to officially welcome everyone to this bootcamp. It promises to be uh, very intensive. I won't want us to take it with levity, thinking because it's a free class. This is going to be a game changer for every one of us. Please, I want us to pay rapt attention and follow all the way from the beginning to the end. This class is going to be quite long because it's 2 days, and I believe some people will be like, what am I going to learn within 2 days? You are going to be shocked as to what you're going to learn in the during the course of this class. Okay, I
Just
can
someone.
see Emmanuel. I can see Tohib, Ogushina. I can see Chiboy, Pearl. I can see Dempsey, John Justice, uh, Kofi, Abbas, Kofi, and many others as well. You're all welcome. You're welcome. All right. So without wasting our time, I'm going to just start right away. So I'll be starting by sharing my screen so that we can all follow with the class proper. Okay. All right. I'll be sharing my screen. So I want to believe everyone can see my screen. Please let's respond if you can see my screen. I believe everyone can see my screen, right? Yeah, Dempsey, can we all hear me?
Yes, I will come.
Okay, okay, and we can see my screen, right?
Yes.
All
Yes,
right,
we
perfect.
can.
So today we're going to be starting with introduction to UI UX design, and from here we're going to go all the way to the web application we're going to be using for this training. This is going to be an intensive bootcamp as I've promised earlier on, and let's look at the things we are going to learn from the first part. So the first part is going to be on introduction to UI UX design. And in for this introductory class, we'll cover a few things. The first is going to be the UI UX what and why you should learn this high demand skill. And from there, we're going to proceed to the careers in UI UX design. From where we're going to look at how much you can earn as a UI UX designer, and we're going to be entertaining questions from participants. Peradventure you have questions to ask, and if time permits, we're going to move all the way to look at UX psychology, a bit of UX psychology, and from there we're going to get right into the real work, and that is getting you familiar with the web application Figma, which we are going to be using for the purpose of this class to create our UI design. So we are going to be designing an app design before the end of the whole class, and also a website design. All right, so possibly we might decide to vote an application, but not to waste our time, probably we'll just pick one from maybe page flow or dribble and just redesign so that we can have idea. And we are going to be prototyping this application as well to see how this application is going to look in real time after it has been developed as well. All right, I'm Coach Manuel. You're welcome once again. Alright, so let's start with the UI UX what and why. I believe many people here must be familiar. I can see quite a number of people here are graphic designer, and we have undergraduate students as well. And I know you must have been hearing the field, this tech field of UI UX design quite a bit of time, and we are to an extent familiar with it. But then I would not but touch giving few more explanation on that. So what is UI and what is UX? Now, UI stands for the user interface, just as the name implies. UI, user interface, and what this focuses on is just the look and the feel of a product. And whenever we talk of product, we're talking of app designs and website design or software designs. Okay, so anytime I'll be mentioning product quite a bit of time, so just follow along and get yourself accustomed and familiar with that term. Okay, so it's all about design elements users interact with. For now, you can see that I'm interacting with my PC, which is a Windows laptop. Okay, and the reason why I can interact with it easily and seamlessly is because of the user interface that has been pre-designed, and this enables me to navigate through the various applications and softwares I use, and to the various menu sections, the nav menu, the nav bar, and all that. Because all these things have been pre-designed in the software. So the buttons, the screens, the icons, the text or typography, the colors, and everything that visually guides the users to take action on a particular maybe app or website or software. These are the UI. Okay, so the UX stands for user experience. Okay, so when we talk of user experience design, this focuses on the overall experience of a user, the overall experience a user has when interacting with a product. Now, how does this make meaning? Before you can say you want to start designing or creating the feel of a particular product design, there must have been an underlying work of UX expertise. Okay, because even if you are going to be two in one, you must certainly start with the UX process, which is the first thing you want to do is to outline the problem. You want to find out what problem is this product you are designing or creating trying to solve. So for example, let's say you want to create a product for a brand or a client or a stakeholder, and they say they want to create maybe a food application, okay, design, and they need the service of a UI UX designer to help them with this product design. So the first thing you want to do is to meet with your client or the stakeholders of the firm. Then you want to get to know the problem they are trying to solve. This is going to help you in reaching out to the prospective users of that product they want to create, to be able to make some sort of research. That's the first step of research you are going to make, to know what the users are expecting or will be expecting or might be expecting to have in such application, so as to fulfill their test or their hunger in terms of any challenges they are having, which the application is going to solve. So most of what we do as a UI UX designer is to create product that solves a particular problem, and this is why you need to be user centric. You need to have this empathetic charisma. You want to put yourself in the shoes of the users. So even if you have the best idea in the whole world, you still want to test that idea if it is going to work, to find out those consumers, so that everything you are going to create in terms of the buttons, the flow, and the application architecture is going to be to fulfilling the user's needs. So it's all about how easy, intuitive, and enjoyable the experience is going to be for the user. So UX design involves researching. It involves creating the wireframe. Wireframe is just like the sketches that we do. It all starts from the paperwork. You can do the wireframe from your using your pen and paper. Then you transfer the wireframing into the web app you're going to be using, for example Figma, to create your UI. Then you can start prototyping it, or you may decide to prototype the wireframe first, and before converting to an high fidelity design, which is a beautiful design, implementing the colors, the buttons, the screens, the icons, the text, and all of that. Okay, and testing to ensure that the product serves its purpose efficiently and meet the needs of the users. You can see that it is hammering what the needs of the user. So it is not about creating beautiful application design, but creating an app that solve the what the problem the users are facing. Okay, so UI and UX stands for user interface and what user experience. Okay, so when we talk of product, we are talking of digital product like what, like website, like apps and softwares, like I said earlier on. Okay, all right, so we've talked about the UI UX, what and why. So let's move to the second part of the introductory class, which is the importance of UI UX. The first is user satisfaction. So the reason why UI UX is so important is that it directly influences the usability, the satisfaction and success of what, of a product. And the bad UI UX can lead to frustration, it can lead to poor reviews and ultimately lost user. So if the UX experience or user experience of a particular product is what is not good enough, then the users are not going to be satisfied and it could lead to lost users, bad reviews or poor review of the particular product you have created. And the second is business success. Great UI UX on the other hand can make a product what more enjoyable to use and help a product stand out in a crowded market. So take note of that. So why you should learn this high demand skill? So why do you have to learn this skill? Why do you have to learn this high demand skill? It is big. Number one is because it's in high demand. Yeah, as businesses continue to shift towards um, the digital era, so the demand for designers who can create seamless, user-friendly interfaces and experiences what is also gradually increasing. And companies from startups to big companies, they are hiring UI UX designers to stay what competitive with the demands. Okay, so also the second reason why it's an high demand skill to learn is because of its impactful work. And you can see that UI UX designers have the power to shape the way millions of people interact with your product. Okay, and the work you can make someone that the work you do can make what someone's day easier as a UI UX designer, faster and even more enjoyable. So this is one reason why you should learn this skill. And another reason is because this skill is lucrative. And according to various job platforms, UI UX designers are among the highest paid professionals in the tech industry. So whether you are working as a freelancer or in-house, there's always what a demand for talented designers. Creativity meets technology. This is another reason. If you are someone who enjoys blending creativity with what, with problem solving, then UI UX design is the right field for you, because it allows you to experiment with the design while keeping the user's needs and goal in mind. You have to be empathetic. Take note of that. So now let's talk about the careers you can have in UI UX design. So it could be up to like 5 careers. The first is you can major UI designing alone, so and become a UI designer. So this only focus on what, creating visual elements of a product, such as the layout, the colors, the font and buttons. And the goal is to create a beautiful and cohesive design that enhances the user satisfaction. So as a UI designer, what you do is to create a beautiful UI we interact with, the users interact with. Also, you can major UX researcher, being a UX researcher. So you major UX research, and the only thing you want to do is to specialize in understanding user behavior, their needs, their pain points, like what are the things the things they really want you to help them, the problem they really want you to what, help them solve through what, through various surveys, through various surveys. You can even do some sort of questionnaire, interviews and usability testing as well. So this really is crucial for ensuring that the product is aligned with the user's needs. All right, so also we have the third career you can major in is interaction design. You can see its acronym IXD, and this focuses on how users interact with a product. They design the way users perform actions such as what, clicking, such as swiping, such as scrolling. It's just like they do more of prototyping, creating interaction, creating the animation for the what, for the UI. So you can become interaction design if you love what, love animating, you love becoming an animator of what, of various product design. You can as well become a usability analyst that evaluates how easy and efficient a product is by conducting various usability testing and gathering feedback from real users. So that is another career path. The fifth career path is you can become a product designer. This is just like an hybrid role that combines you as a UI designer and UX designer or UX researcher. So you are with this both skill, and you can handle the entire design process from researching to wireframing and also to the final beautiful UI design. So if you are a UI UX designer, then you are a product designer. Okay, so take note of that. Another thing is the sixth field is you becoming a UX writer. What UX writer does is to craft the microscopy that appears in the what, in the interface, the microcopy that appears in the what, interface, such as what, button, text, instructions and error message, ensuring that the language is what, is clear and user friendly. So that is for a UX writer. But if you take note of this whole career, it's if you learn being a UI UX designer, you can major any of these career paths. Okay, so you can choose anyone you want to follow. So how much can you earn as a UI UX designer? This is the fourth part of the introductory class. Okay, so how much can you earn? You can say I'm quite fast because I don't want us to waste time on the introduction so that we can go to the real work and get started. All right, so like I said, it's a lot. This 2 day class is a lot. It is like you learning somewhere for a month. Yeah, everything you are going to learn here is going to be equivalent to what you can learn out there or anywhere in 1 month. Now everything we are doing now, there are things that will take like a week to learn if you go out there to enroll yourself in what, because it is someone like us that you will meet there. We are the one that will teach you there. So we know the what, the whole what, the way the norms and the whole thing works. So now bringing the whole summary of the whole thing you need to learn in what, in 1 week, to something you are learning in less than 30 minutes. That is awesome. Okay, so how much can you earn as a UI UX designer in just especially when you're just starting? Entry level UI UX designer can earn around 350,000. Like just an entry level designer, you are just let's say you are just starting up. After you have learned probably for a period of 2 to 3 months, and you get a role, you're going to be starting with an entry level role. I just pick the average payment from what I am familiar with, that most of the firm in this country pays, especially when you're just starting. So if you are just starting up, they believe you are going to be learning on the roll. So you earn around 350,000 naira. That's like from 300 to 500,000 naira per month. Okay, so if you are a mid-level designer, you earn anywhere from 600,000 to what, to 800,000 naira per month. And if you're a senior designer, you earn around 800,000 to what, to 2 million. That's average of 1.4 million naira. And if you're freelancing, you earn around 400,000 naira to 800,000 or plus for project, depending on what, your expertise, the number of years of experience, your value ladder and all that. So that is the determinants. Okay, so there's no limit to what you can earn. It depends on how much you can what, sell yourself and how good you are, your expertise in the field. So you start somewhere, then you grow gradually. Okay, so what are the frequently asked questions by my students? The first question I mostly ask is, how do I start learning UI UX design if I have no prior experience? So you can start by taking a course, reading books, practicing design tools like what, like Figma. These are my responses. Or on tools like Figma or Adobe XD, building a portfolio with what, with personal projects, or the redesigning existing apps that tons of dollars has been spent on. It's a great way to start learning as well. Okay, so what is the most important skill to develop as a UI UX designer? That's the second question I mostly get from my student, and my response is what is empathy. You see that I was echoing that earlier on. Most important skill you need as a UI UX designer is empathy. So empathy is key. You need to understand your users deeply to design for their needs. So if you don't understand them, how will you create a product for them? No, there's no way. So but technical skills like proficiency in design tools like Photoshop, like Figma, like some other design tools to can help you. And understanding user flows are also what are also very important. Okay, but the main skill is still empathy. Another question I get from some of my students is how can I make my portfolio stand out to potential employers? And my response, this is going to be for people that have learned and they feel, oh, how can I make my portfolio? So focus on showing your design process. So you want to focus on showing your design process. Employers want to see how you approach problems and solutions, not just by seeing the final product. So you want to make sure you highlight your research, the wireframe, the prototypes, and what the thinking behind your designs, the problem statement. All of those things are what they want to see. Okay, so that is all for the introduction. I don't know if we have any question.
Yes, sir. I have a question, sir.
Okay, yeah, I'm with you.
Okay. You talked something about being a senior UI UX designer and a junior UI UX designer. So,
Yeah.
what differentiates the two classes? Like, what makes you a senior? Is it number of years, or is there something else added?
Okay, good. The same way you get promoted to your workplace is the same way you can, when you are being assessed. If you just start, let's say you just finish your training, uh, normally it requires like 2 to 3 months to get well grounded as a UI UX designer. That's if you devote at least 3 months to get well grounded. So after then you can assume a role of an entry level UI UX designer. So as you grow in that role, let's say after like 6 months to a year, you should be approaching the mid level. You understand? So from the entry to the mid, so you'll be growing gradually. Then before you become the senior what? The senior designer. So a senior designer is someone that has garnered quite a number of years and experience, and you are required of quite a number of skill before you can get to that level. For example, if you are an entry level designer, the basic skill you need is just like you having the skill of your UI UX design tools alone, like the Figma or Adobe XD, Photoshop, and other ones like that. Do you understand? But a senior level designer needs to have knowledge of to an extent coding knowledge. For example, you have the knowledge of HTML, CSS, and a bit of JavaScript, at least for mid level, so or senior level. So you need to at least know how to code to an extent. So this can help you graduate to the senior level, because a senior level designer will be working with working on complex projects. So there are quite a number of projects, and as you go in depth, you'll be seeing even more. But for now, it's not something I can really tell you now. But when we start, you understand, and get to a particular level, you are going to see even more. Do you understand? So by the end of the class tomorrow, you even see even more reason why there is the level you need to move from, especially when you're just starting out. And for example, if even if you start learning now and you finish with the old training, let's say I train you and you finish up, you understand, The thing is, the level you are going to be at is not going to be the same as the level I am. And if you are going to assume the same role at that point, one person is going to be an entry level designer, while another person will be what? The senior designer. Do you get it? So your expertise and experience is what really determine that. Any other question? I can see Chiboy, Chidima. Okay, Chidima, you have the floor.
We can't see your screen.
Yeah, your question.
I can't see your screen. I don't know why. Maybe it's just me or
No, I stopped sharing now, just now. Did you not see it before?
no, I haven't. It was just white.
Oh, maybe your device. I believe every other person was seeing my screen.
I wasn't, sir. It was white. Like it was just white.
Okay,
But I'm not seeing your screen out, so
okay. It seems
I'm
most
not
of
seeing
us
the
are.
screen as well.
Are you
Uh-huh.
sure?
Ah,
But can you
You can
see it
see it
now?
now.
you can see it
Okay.
now.
Oh,
Yes.
sorry about that. So you were not seeing my screen.
Yes.
Okay, I recorded the class anyway, so I
Yeah.
believe the
That,
the recordings is going to pick everything. Don't worry. So the class is recorded and I will share it with every one of us. Okay, so this is just like the preview of the whole thing I was talking about, the importance, why you should learn the high demand skill and the careers, the UI design, the UX research, and interaction design, becoming a usability analyst, product designer, UX writer. You understand? And how much you can earn. Frequently asked questions by my student. I think these are all we talk about. We can all see my screen now, right?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Don't worry. The class is being recorded, so uh, I will share the recorded video. I believe a Telegram channel will be created at the end of the class tonight so that you can have access to the recorded video. Or possibly, if something, I can share the file with us so that we can go through the presentation file so that every one of us can have access and go through. Okay, I will share this file with us, okay, at the end of this class so that we can all go through it at the end of this class as well on our own. Okay. All right. Any other question? Any other question? We are going to part 2.
Yes, I have questions, sir.
Okay. Please ask your question.
Yeah, good evening, everyone. Please, my question is, apart from this 2 day class now, if
Yeah.
somebody wants to have you as a mentor, right? Somebody that has no knowledge at all that wants to have you as a mentor, and for you to guide the person from scratch till when the person get a portfolio at least. So, will you be able to do that? Secondly, do you have apart from teaching, do you have a real life experience? Like, have you worked with a company? We would like to see if you have a real life experience, like a project you have worked on before. We'll be glad to see it. Thank you, sir.
All right. Yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah, if you need someone to mentor you, uh, you're with the right person. Okay, so and for the experience, I've worked with quite a number of firms in and out of Nigeria. Okay, and I will show you some of the projects I've worked on. Recently, I worked on Oyo State project as well, designing the UI for the tax website. Okay, so I'm going to show you the OUI by tomorrow so that you can see and you can compare and vet it with the live website as well. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
All
Thank
right.
you.
All right. So if you need any assistance personally, you can reach out to me probably after the class as well. So now we are going to part 2. The first thing we just did, the first part is just tip of an iceberg. We have not done anything. So don't run away. We are going to just get started, and this is going to get more interesting right now in the second phase of the first day, day 1. So please take note, day 1 and day 2 is going to be like, at least we'll be spending like 2 hours altogether, like from here, from like maybe 8 to like 10. We should just make sure we bear that in mind. It's going to be, it's not the regular 30-minute class you do or 1 hour class you do. It's going to be intensive. Okay, so let's take note of that. So now the next thing we want to do is to go to our desktop. Okay, let me do something. I talk about UX psychology. Okay, before I teach us or put us through how we can, okay, let me just take us on UX psychology a bit before we go right to setting up our account on the web app Figma, which you are going to be using for the UI design. Okay, all right. All right, so I want to believe everyone can see my screen now.
Yes, sir.
All right, perfect. So now the next thing we're looking at is UX psychology before we go to the practical aspect. This is the last theory that we need to know. So for UX psychology, we are going to be looking at the UX laws and principles. All right, so I'm Coach Manuel. I believe we are familiar with that. So user experience design has its roots in behavioral psychology. We need to take note of that. And it is just a blueprint of human being interaction with a machine. And that is why it's easier for us to manipulate the way people interact with a product with our what? With our design. And we have some famous UX laws and principles that you need to get familiar with. The first is the isolation effect. The second is the Hicks law, and the third is the Fitts law. I just picked these 3 famous UX laws that I feel these 3 are quite important. We have tons of them. If you go to this website lawsofux.com, you are going to see other ones like the Doherty effect and many other ones. So you can go there and learn even more. So the first is the von Richthofen effect or the isolation effect, and this was propounded by a psychiatrist, Edwig von Richthofen. So he predicts that when similar objects are present, the one that differs from the rest is most likely to be what? To be remembered. If you look at the screen right here, you see that we have quite a number of of trainers, right? And the one that is different is this one in the 3rd place. And if I leave this screen, you see that you most likely remember this particular one that has quite a bit of maybe chalk color or thereabout from the rest that are black. Okay, so that is the effect of what? Isolation effect. So now if you look at this screen, you see quite a number of rectangles, and what do you think, which rectangle do you think is going to be easier to recall after leaving this slide? I believe the answer is going to be this blue, because it is different from where? From the rest that are white. So we can use the isolation effect by virtue of colors. So using colors to isolate a particular element from the rest. If you look at this particular rectangle, is isolated from the rest by using what? By using color. Okay, so the property that is used right here is color, to make sure this is isolated from the rest. And you see that your eye will catch this one first before it catches the other ones. And even after leaving this screen, you remember this blue rectangle. All right, another property you can use to apply the isolation effect is shapes. Okay, you can see that this particular shape is an ellipse or a circle, and it's different from the rest, which are rectangle. So you can see that your eye catches this one first because the shape differs from the rest. That is isolation effect in place. You can as well use another property, size, to apply the isolation effect, as you can see right on my screen. The next, for example, if a person examines a shopping list with one item highlighted in what? In bright green, he or she will more likely remember the highlighted item than any of the other one. So please take note of that. That's the isolation effect. Now, how do we implement the von Richthof effect or the isolation effect? Now, if you take note of all these elements here, you see that all of them are fighting for what? For users' attention, in the sense that they have different shapes and different color. So these four or these three will be fighting for what? The user attention. Now let's look at the practical example. You can see that out of these three cards, this middle one is being highlighted. Now, most of the time when we navigate through some website, you see pricing plan, and you see pricing plan, you see that one is going to be best value, or they will write something like recommended, right? I believe most of us are familiar. Now you just see recommended. Now you see that the recommended one will be the one that your eye catches first, and most likely you see that people will purchase that one more than the rest. This is because of the effect. So they are trying to manipulate you using some sort of psychological effect of what? Of von Richthof effect on you, but you will not know because you are not familiar. So your attention will be drawn to the one that is best value. If you take note, you see that people will tend to purchase this one more than even this standard offer. Take note of that. That is an effect of what? Of von Richthof or isolation effect. The second law is the X law. And what does this explain? It explains that the time it takes to make a decision increases or is proportional to the number of what? Of choices you are having. Now let's look at remote controls right here. You see that all these remote has quite a number of quite a lot of buttons, and this is going to cause delay in reaction, because if you are just getting familiar with this, or you just pick any of these remote, you need to start studying and start reading and start checking all through. So it's going to take longer time before you can take a reaction. So too many options is equivalent to delay in reaction. That is X law. Now Apple came with this user-centered design of what? Of a remote, and you can see that it has few or lesser buttons, and this is going to what? Focus on just primary action, and it takes what? Lesser time to react. Look at these two cards, for let's say menu or menu items, right? This particular one has too many options. This one has just few options, right? So it's going to take longer time to react or to pick an option right here than to pick an option for the right card. Okay. Another way we can apply the X law is looking at all of this. You can see that if you want to choose a particular location with this, it's going to take longer time because you have too many options. But this UI is a lot easier because you can scroll through and just pick one of these three you are seeing, or scroll through and see another three. This is easier. But the easiest is to have fewer options, maybe like 4 locations, then others. And for the others, maybe when you tap others, there could be a particular input field where you can put the name of your own city and just indicate it. That makes life a lot easier. You don't have to start checking all through. This is kind of harder, and you want something easier for your for your users. So this is the easiest and the best of the UIs that you have right here. The third we are going to be looking at is the fit law. And what this explains is that the time it takes to acquire a target is a function of what? Of the distance to and size of the target. So it's just like two functions, right? Distance to and the size of target. That means the time it takes to acquire a target is proportional to the distance to the distance to the target and the size of what? Of the target. Let's look at the application. Look at these particular buttons right here. This is a call to action button, otherwise known as a CTA. So whenever you hear CTA, is a call to action. You are familiar with this CTA button, and most likely you see it like this in your applications. For example, you can say shop now, you can say checkout, you can say login or register. Now if it is appearing somewhere around here, you see that the time it takes to reach this is going to be what? Let's look at the law. It says the time to acquire is what? Is a function of distance. Now because the distance is far off and the size is even small. It takes a longer time to acquire this button, or for your eye to even pick this button. It's too small in terms of size, and it's even not obeying the fit law. This is a better one because it is closer to the thumb reach for call to action button, right? And also it is big in terms of size, so it means the time it takes for reaction is going to be what, to be faster. Now if you look at this, you want to keep this in mind, that for your left hand, you can see this part of the mobile phone that is highlighted green is going to be naturally easier for reach. Okay, so but around this region is going to be that you have to stretch your hand, and this part is going to be very hard for your left thumb to reach. For your combined thumb reach, you can see that this center region for the natural is going to be easy, and if you go all the way up, it's going to be that you are stretching your hands, and these last two edges will be quite hard. And for your right hand, around these regions shaded green is going to be easier. Around this part is going to be quite hard because you have to quite a bit hard because you have to stretch, but this point is going to be very hard. So take note of all of these layouts in mind. This is going to help you in creating what, the perfect UI for your application design. So we have some tips and hints, like always look out for design inspiration on websites like Dribble, Behance, Award, Pinterest, Medium. This is going to help you create the best, but the thing is, it might not be somewhere you want to start if you are just starting out. So I'm going to still tell you where you can go if you need better design inspiration, especially when you are just starting out as a beginner. Alright, so if you are just starting off as a beginner, where do you have to go? Where can I recommend you to go to? So let me show you that briefly. So you can go all the way to this website, go to page flows. So let me just search page flows. Okay, so pageflows.com. Now the reason why I recommend page flows is because there are tons of like standard application screens there you can gain access to even for free, and these applications has been paid for, like tons of dollars has been spent on them to create them, so you don't have to start stressing yourself identifying whether it is the best UI practices that is being followed, because all of these actually they are professional application that you can just get the flows or the screens of those applications right from there. Another method you can use is to go all the way to your app store or play store and search for different popular applications you are familiar with. Let me mention a few of them. Let's say WhatsApp, let's say Uber Eats, let's say Glovo, many other ones. Okay, so just go there and search for most of those popular, depending on the niche you want to create a design from. Now redesigning all of these applications that thousands of dollars has been spent on is going to help you build your build eye for good UI, okay, and give you well-grounded knowledge of UI design. For example, if you go to website like Dribble, it is not beginner friendly because there are some UI that are not following the standard procedure or principle. You will still see them there. Okay, there are some quack UIs that you see, but if you know what you are looking for, Dribble is also a good place you can get design inspiration. So I'm not saying it's not good, but the way you have quack designs is the same way you have pro designs right there. But if you don't know what you are looking for, you might end up following the bad UI, and redesigning bad UI is going to give you an impression or knowledge of you creating bad UIs as well. So take note of that. All right, so that is about that. So we are done with this part, and then from here we're going to be moving to the third phase of the day one class, and that is getting you familiar with Figma. Okay, before then, this is page flows, how it looks. You can check various iOS application screens here, and you can check for the Android app screens, you can see this particular one is a one password. Here BNB is here, right? As well, you can click on this. So it's going to show you various screens of those applications. Then you can download and import them to your app and then redesign them. Okay, so probably that is going to be the next thing we are going to be doing, and we are going to be redesigning few we just pick one application there from there, and also we are going to look out for a particular website as well and redesign. But we are not going to finish that. We are going to be doing the designing tomorrow in tomorrow class, design an app, and also we are going to be designing a website, okay, tomorrow. But now today, let's go to the third phase. That's getting you familiar, signing up, creating an account right inside of Figma. Alright, so before we move to the third part, which is going to be the last phase for tonight, I would just entertain a few questions.
Good evening, Coach.
Yeah, good evening.
Please, well, before I go to Donna, I want to ask if
Yes, it is.
Yeah, I can hear you.
okay, to enable us go back when we are done to grasp the concept very well.
Yeah, what did you say? Please, can you recap?
No, I asked if the session is being recorded.
Yes, yes, it's being recorded. It's being recorded. Oh, that's serious.
Okay, thank you.
All right.
He's saying that the call will end.
Yeah, yeah, we're going to finish before the class ends. Okay, so we just have a little thing to do, like in the next 5 to 10 minutes, and we're going to round up. Okay. So the last part is just where we are going to be moving to right now, and I will just walk us through what and what we need to do. Right. So let me share my screen. Um, I want to believe. Can we see my screen? Can we all see my screen, please?
Yes,
Okay, perfect.
Yes.
yes, sir.
All right, perfect. So now, the next thing I want us to do ahead of the class tomorrow, which is going to be the practical part of the class, is we're going to be making use of Figma, which is a web application for our UI designs. Okay, and I want us to do something to go right here to figma.com from our Chrome browser. If you don't have Chrome browser, please download Chrome browser on your device. You're going to need that. Okay, so go all the way to Chrome and download. If you don't have, go use your whatever browser you have and download Chrome on your device. And if you need help downloading, you can even search on YouTube, check out for videos on how you can download Chrome on your device. So once you get it, go all the way to figma.com and you're going to land right here. Click on get started for free and you're going to just create an account. You can continue with your mail, your Google Mail, if you sign in on the browser. Right now I'm just using an incognito mode, so I'm going to use a temp mail to create an account. But it's advisable that you should use what? Your mail. like your Gmail and just sign up, or your Yahoo Mail, whichever way. If your Gmail is connected to your browser, just click on continue with Google and it's going to automatically get you signed up. Okay, so this is loading. This is loading. Okay, this is just a disposable email address. I want to just make use of to show you what you need to do. So click on this, copy to clipboard, and go back to Figma, paste it right here. I forgot to say something before I enroll. Please make sure that you go through this page and just read through what Figma is used for. You can check the pricing, you can check the product, like the Figma design. Just read through. Then after you are done, maybe you are satisfied going through that, just go and you can then continue with your mail or your Google. So immediately, if you are using email, it's going to ask you to create a password. I'll just 1 2 3 4 5 6 7. I think it requires up to like 7. Then you want to click on create an account. So I'll just say create account. Okay, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. So I'll say create account. So I should get a mail in my inbox from Figma. So it's still loading. So immediately this is successful. I should get a verification mail. Okay, so it says check your inbox, and now let's check the inbox. It's still loading. Alright, perfect. You can see the mail arrived already from Figma. So let's click on verify email address.
We are not seeing your screen.
I thought you said
I think it's stuck to
I thought you said you were seeing my screen.
the screen. Now, right now, we are seeing it now.
Hold on. Let me reshare, please. That was why I asked, were you seeing my screen? Okay, can we all see my screen now? Can we all see my screen?
No. No.
No, right?
No.
Okay, I think the best thing I will have to do is this is more reason
No, sir.
I prefer to use Zoom, but I just feel many people might not have Zoom application. Okay, let me stop sharing. Um,
Zoom is better.
okay, for tomorrow we are going to use Zoom. Okay, tomorrow please let's make sure we install Zoom, because sharing screen is quite a lot seamless and a lot friendly with Zoom. Okay, let me reshare the screen. I think you should be able to catch my screen now. Can you? Can you catch my screen now? You see figma.com?
No.
It's
No.
just okay. We can see it now.
Okay, perfect. So you want to go all the way to figma.com, like I said, figma.com. Then go through everything right here, and you want to click on get started, input your email, and a mail will be sent to you, or just log in directly with your Gmail. So now I already got a mail, a confirmation mail, because I'm using a temporary mail for now. I don't know why it's loading again. Okay. So now you're going to get a mail for verification. That is if you don't sign up directly with your Gmail. So when you click on verify, click on verify. And if you need help with how you can create the account, I will give you, maybe I will drop a link to the previous bootcamp we did where I explained the same thing. It's on my YouTube. Okay, I believe everyone is following my YouTube channel. Go and watch the previous bootcamp. You are going to see, you can fast forward it to the place where I created a Figma account as well. You can watch as well ahead of tomorrow class. You will learn a lot from there as well. Then by the time we come together tomorrow, everyone should even go and watch. I will drop the link so that we can watch through, and it's going to help you a lot and prepare you ahead of the proper class tomorrow, and you'll be able to have enough questions to ask as well. So now it's just loading. I guess it's just the network that is slowing the whole process down. So now it should land or lead us to the landing page, which is Figma dashboard. And when you land on that Figma dashboard, then congratulations, you're welcome to Figma. It's already loaded, but I don't know, it's just okay. Maybe I should just show you how it looks from here.